Hello and good afternoon. Today we're going to talk about constellations as a demonstration for this instructional video. We've already discussed single and multiple and getting them to run over time. I'm not going to start out that way. I just want to initially show you what constellations do and what that means. In this workbook, the constellations refer to the 39 constellation groups that come from the website celesttrack.com. As you can see, space stations is the one that's currently highlighted. I'm going to click on the constellation group, and it will take, depending on the size of the constellation, a number of seconds, up to a minute maybe, to generate the entire constellation. Alright, and now that that has completed, we will go to our Google Earth window, and I've already brought this one in from the desktop. And there you go. There is the space station's constellation showing all of the flock group of nano imaging satellites. It's an interesting way to do it, and if we were to select run, it would run over time, and then you'd be able to see those moving in near real time. The more the satellites in the constellation, obviously the longer it takes to generate. Let's try something else here. I've already briefly demonstrated how the multiple constellation on the multiple pull down tab works with bringing in groups of satellites. I'm going to specifically talk about GPS here. I'm going to highlight GPS, and it's going to bring in that GPS constellation to the workbook. There you go. I'm going to hit constellation again, and it's going to generate the 31 GPS satellites. And now that that is complete, let's go back to Google Earth. I'll right click, revert. I'm going to zoom out, and there you go. There is the GPS constellation with the field of view cones to Colorado Springs, Colorado. As you can see, there are 7 GPS satellites above a 20-degree mask angle to Colorado Springs. Once again, if you were to select run, those would continue to run. I'm going to go back to the multiple pull down tab, and I'm going to show you something unique. As you can see, GPS is highlighted here, and GPS is the only constellation that will show up blue under the constellation master pull down, specifically to show which GPS planes are selected. Currently you can see that all 6 GPS planes are selected, but maybe we don't want all 6 to be selected. Maybe we only want to see 1 or 2 of those GPS planes. So I'll pull down the select button, and now you can see that none of the planes are selected. So let's see what the A plane and the F plane look like specifically for GPS. Alright, there you can see just those planes. Now I could go back to the satellites tab and generate it from here, but I can also generate it using this create master pull down button from the multiple pull down tab. So let's generate that. Now it's just going to generate the A and the F plane. Let's hit it. Okay, and now that that is complete, let's go back to Google Earth, right click, and revert. And there you have it. There are just the A and F planes, and in those 2 planes there happen to be 3 satellites in view of Colorado Springs, Colorado right now. This is just useful if somebody were wanting to generate those planes just to see, for instance, what was going on. You could also, for instance, simulate one plane going down and select just the 5 other planes, and then you could see, fairly accurately which satellites are in view and approximation of coverage. Alright, now I'm going to go back, select all because that is the default. And there we go. There are all of the GPS satellites. I'm going to show you one additional thing. But to make this work, we're going to select Use Multiple Ground Sites. We're going to ensure that Radar Visible is set to No. We're going to choose just Show Operational Satellites because we don't necessarily want to see every satellite, we just want to see the ones that are functioning. Let's go back. We're going to pull down Iridium, the Iridium constellation. There's Iridium debris. Let's scroll back up. There we are. There's the Iridium constellation. Now it's going to bring it in. And let's hit run. We're going to get this to run. And let's hit Constellation. Now it's going to generate, and because the Iridium constellation technically has more than 90 satellites in it, it's going to take a little while to generate and to wean out those satellites that are down. It's not going to generate those, but it still has to cycle through to determine whether that satellite's functional or not. And now that that has completed, let's go back to the Google Earth window. We're going to right click and revert. And there is the Iridium constellation. And if you notice on the left hand side, there are no satellites that are considered down, negative, as far as the sign goes. They're all positive, or in this case S for spare. And these will generate approximately every 20-25 seconds or so, and then you'll be able to see these satellites skip forward in time and move forward to show a simulation approximately of where the Iridium satellites are. There you go. You saw that move. Now keep in mind, this is a field of regard cone that I've set to 45 degrees. In reality, the coverage area is much greater than this, so the Iridium constellation has much better coverage than this. However, for the time being, a somewhat accurate representation of where the Iridium satellites are and approximation of where those satellites are in view overhead. And you can see there is a field of view cone to nearby cities. Each satellite will only find the nearest of those 75 cities on the multiple pull down tab, so obviously there are more cities in view of Iridium constellation at any one time. So let's go back. We're going to go to set the program to stop. And that concludes today's demonstration on the orbital dynamics calculation spreadsheet for constellations. Thank you. Tune back in for the next episode.